Hello everybody, welcome back to Cinema Savvy. It is myself, George, bringing you a brand new review, and today I'm going to be reviewing Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which is now in cinemas in the UK, America and rest of the world, starring Jim Carrey, Ben Schwartz and many others. It's finally arrived, maybe one of the most anticipated films left of 2024, certainly those based in the UK have to wait till New Year's Day for Nosferatu, no expectations there, and I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the film, the others, leading into it, so many other things. I'm excited to talk about this one. So as always, I do want to hear from people at home. So please do comment your thoughts on Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Now, I'm going to keep this spoiler free. It's out now, I know that, but I'm not doing a spoiler review. But if you do want to comment some spoilers, I don't actually mind that. Just be very hesitant of other people who may not have seen it, because obviously there's credit scenes. There's discussions that Sonic 4 is now entering production. I think there's a release date that's already been put in place, which caught me off guard. I didn't know if they were going to try and round it out with the trilogy, because where did you go once you get Shadow? That's going to be something I talk about. A lot to digest. I've seen the film today, very early in the morning, 9 AM. It's Christmas week. It's going to be very busy. I was meant to double bill this and Mufasa. I finished Sonic. I was in far too good a mood to want to go and watch Mufasa, a film I have no anticipation for. And this is somebody that really liked the 2019 Lion King, so yeah, maybe I'll get to that another time. I'm not in an absolute rush. I've seen some awful films recently, but Sonic 3 was not an awful film. Actually, this was a film I was really looking forward to. I was surprised at how much I liked the first film. Absolutely loved the second film when that came out in 2022, or was it 2023? I can't remember. It feels like it's absolutely flown by, no tails, puns intended. And the third one, bringing in Shadow, bringing in Keanu Reeves, continuing the story, I was down for it. And it seems a lot of other people like that. It's been a very, very popular film. The anticipation for it, I've seen so much online. It's had a great reception in the last day or two. So it's a really great thing for me to be able to talk about this, knowing I've seen it, knowing I've enjoyed it. I didn't go to the press screening for this one. I was very busy last weekend, so unfortunately missed out. A lot of people I know had seen it and they absolutely loved it. So that's a great thing heading into this. And I guess I've got to talk about the director, Jeff Fowler, who has done this trilogy as such. Now, it's going to be a fourth film, so it won't be a trilogy for too long. But I've got to say, if you rewind the clocks back to that first trailer for Sonic 1, when that image, design, whatever monstrosity you want to call it, came out, and the film got delayed, it went through, obviously, a lot of changes behind the scenes. The design completely rechanged. There were so many reports at the time about, obviously, overtime on CGI artists. We know the industry's having a massive struggle with that at the moment. They're looking to unionise, which is great. It's quite incredible. We're here in 2024 and they've just finished the third one, and it's probably going to be a monster hit this weekend. It's probably going to be massive across the next few weeks. And you got to kind of not take your hat off to it, but the studio that chose to ignore what other people wanted, that other people being fans, other people in production, so many variants that were involved in making that first film. It's still crazy to think that we got 3 films of the correct designs. Imagine if that film had come out and bombed because of the design. It probably would have, but it didn't. It found a home. Even Ben Schwartz did an interview recently saying that he doesn't think he was meant to be Sonic. He did the test footage, and then after the auditioning process, they just went with him anyway, which is great. And it's almost been a sort of twisting tale road to success, this series, that we get to sit here a couple of years later talking about 3 great films, and on the eve of a 4th one, which credit scenes this obviously anticipates what it's going to be. And I just think it's a really overwhelming story. Maybe because of this time I'm feeling a bit nicer, but I absolutely loved it so much. There's not really much of a review, is it? So we'll talk about the story for this one, because the story I thought was great. I think this is the best one so far by actually a country mile. I've really liked the idea that we've got the team now of Sonic, Knuckles and Tails. They've got the family balance at home. Everything's going hunky-dory as you'd expect at this point. And enter Shadow, bringing in a character I remember from the games, playing with one of my friends growing up. He was the cool Sonic, the darker Sonic. There were rumours that Hayden Christensen was going to play him at some point, which was crazy, which would have been cool, but to bring in Keanu Reeves to play Shadow is probably one of the best voice acting choices in recent years. I know not everybody likes the whole we get an A-lister to play a voice actor type thing, but Keanu brings not only an audience as such, but you can add it to the Keanu Reeves list of characters and you could be sitting there thinking about Shadow, about John Wick, about Neo from The Matrix. Oh my god, Toy Story 4, he was undoubtedly the highlight from that film. Bringing Keanu on board is great. He's been amazing in the press, doing interviews with fans, And I think partnering him up with Ben Schwartz and with the others, he's a fantastic addition to this. But I did not anticipate the story being so heavily revolved around him, that he was almost the polar opposite of Sonic, in the sense that he lost what the family he had when he first came to Earth, and that's put him on this downward spiral and puts him into the process of being the villain. I didn't expect to be dealing with grief in a film like Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and I'm so glad we do, because the film is so much better for it. You can then pair up someone I've not spoke about yet, the MVP of this trilogy, Jim Carrey, one of my favourite comedy actors of all time. We've just done a video on The Grinch as part of the Christmas videos. Unintentionally, that came out the same day as Sonic 3. But I've got to say, I want to say career reborn. In fact, he's come out of retirement for this, but in the dual role of Robotnik and his granddad, even he gets a redemption story, he gets a character arc. But on top of the story dynamics, it's Jim Carrey at his comedic best. He's incredible in this. He nails both dual roles. He still has the physical performance. He still has the incredible voices. And he's still hilariously entertaining. And I miss him so much from being on the big screen. I wish he could do more comedies. I understand why he doesn't. I understand his career obviously changed somewhat. He's done a lot of cartoonist work and everything. And he's sort of steered away from the film industry. I really understand that. But I was laughing so much at him today. And I think it's amazing they got him back. Whether he returns the fourth is somewhat doubtful. If they've got him out of retirement once, I really don't see them getting him out of retirement again. But it just feels like Robotnik could be up there with some of his best work. The fact he got to play him across 3 films. The fact that 3 films in he's still funny. Obviously it pales compared to some of his work in the 90s, which is like, I think, one of the best comedy-oriented actors ever had. But Jim Carrey in this, I also was not anticipating him having such a wonderful character arc. And I'm not being OTT and saying I think it was one of the most compelling stories of the year. The shadow pairing with Robotnik, with the granddad, with the grandson, the whole concept of family and alienation, in contrast to Sonic, Tails and Knuckles. I thought the film nailed it. But you know what? That's me talking about story. The film would be nothing without the action, without what makes Sonic Sonic. And I've got to say, the action set pieces were superb. The visuals looked incredible to all the companies. Going back to what I said earlier, if you look at what could have been and almost was with Sonic, how it is now, it looks perfect. And the video game adaptation, the troubles so many have had, they pale compared to this. This has nailed it. This is going to be the benchmark for others to do it moving forward. Detective Pikachu, I know it's more of a card game, etc., but Detective Pikachu I thought was very good and nailed that. How do we do live action with these CGI creatures that look like creatures that don't look too humanoid or look too real? They found a way for it to work in this. They found a way for it to work in that. There is a standard that's been set, and it's up to other video game franchises to do that if they try and make them into films. I think this is a benchmark. It's going to be a humongous hit, and I was endeared by it. I was really surprised that I thought I'm going to have a fun time. It'll be a lovely pick-me-up. It'll be a great little Saturday film before Christmas, but I was shocked at how good I thought this film was. And this will live probably quite long in the memory. I think this is a film I'll go back to. I haven't rewatched the others in anticipation, but I'm just sat there thinking, do I do a trilogy rewatch now? I'd like to. Certainly will do before the 4th one, so it's a glowing review from me. Nailed it. As I said, it's got everything you'd want. I don't think, understatement of the year, a Sonic film needs to be as good as this, which is the ultimate compliment. It's genuinely a great film. You can look past the video game side of it. You can look past the fact it's a sequel. What it's doing with the characters, with the story, the themes are, I think, very few films, particularly kids' films outside of Pixar, has really done it in a way like this did. So it's a glowing recommendation for me. Go see this at the cinemas. I think you'll have a blast. If you've got a young family, the kids are probably going to enjoy it. It's Sonic after all. He can appeal to all audiences. There's a lot of, not adult jokes as such, but there's a lot of jokes that maybe adults will work out more than others. Nothing too vulgar or extreme, but it's got things that adults are going to enjoy as much as the ones that kids are going to enjoy. And that's where I'm going with this. So it's a massive recommendation for me. Real highlight of the year. Maybe it's made my top 10 of the year. I'm going to have a couple of days to have a sit and think about that, but that is going to do it for this review today. So thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. It feels like forever I've done a new review. I know I missed out on Wolf the Rohirrim. They're only showing it once a day. I have seen Kraven the Hunter. I don't really want to review it if I'm honest. It was that bad. That's my review. I need to see Mufasa. Again, I'm not bothered. The Robbie Williams film's out on Boxing Day. Apparently that's very good. Don't care for his music, but apparently the film's very good, so I might see it. And we got Nosferatu on New Year's Day, so there's still new reviews coming. They're just a bit different. It's Christmas. It's a very difficult time of year for this sort of thing. It's not a priority. Priority seeing friends, seeing family, being with people. So But the reviews, we'll pop them on our social medias: Facebook, Letterboxd, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter. Linktree.com/cinemasavvy has links to all of them. Wherever you follow us, you can find us on there. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. We've got one more Christmas classic coming. That's going to be White Christmas, coming out on not New Year's Eve, on Christmas Eve. But if this last video gets to of us, I hope you'll have a lovely Christmas, a wonderful time. And thank you all so much for your help, for your support across this year. It's been a very difficult year for a lot of reasons, especially the channel. We've had a lot of changes as well. So a massive thank you to all for your patience and to all the new viewers and subscribers. So once again, thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.